The St. Louis Cardinals take care of the Cubs on Sunday to win the series. They also just beat the Dodgers and have won 4 of their last 6. And one Cardinal legend has made a bold prediction about the end of the season. Should we start believing in these guys again? This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafron, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. Follow me on X at JD Sports Radio, as well as the podcast on X at LO_Cardinals. You find us on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. This is a show that serves Cardinal Nation, gives the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bet now. Thomas Gauvain from RedbirdRanch.com is kind enough to join us on this Monday to talk some Cardinal baseball. It's a glorious Monday, Thomas, because as you can see if you're watching on YouTube, the ugly shirt, it's here. It's on again, pressed, ironed, ready to go. Back-to-back series wins. They knock off their rival, the Chicago Cubs, thanks to a 3-2 win on Sunday Night Baseball. That's right. The Cardinals won not only on a Sunday, Thomas, which they don't do very much of this year, nationally televised game. Normally they get blown out in those games. So you've got a Sunday, nationally televised. These are things they've struggled with. Thomas, how are we feeling about what the boys did this weekend?
You have to throw in the rain delay, too, because they keep on getting those little nuggets. Yeah, I feel great. It's always good when you beat the Cubs, you know, especially in a big moment like this, early August, heat of the summer. It feels good.
Yeah, and the Cardinals, and I'm going to throw this out there, they're in what we call the happy place right now, Thomas, much like the movie Happy Gilmore and Happy Gilmore 2. I don't know if you've seen those yet, but the new one's on Netflix. Entertaining, not as good as the first one, but in those movies, happy dreams of, his girl in lingerie, pictures of beer she's holding, grandma winning money and other stuff in those scenes. And the Cardinals are in a similar spot. They got their Yachty in a uniform in the dugout this past weekend. Some decent crowds, obviously not sellouts or anything like that, but some decent crowds, which, thank you to the Cubs fans for coming to St. Louis and being a part. Plenty of beer at Busch Stadium. And we also got some really good pitching performances in the last week from Sonny Gray, who threw 2 gems. And then on Friday, you had Michael McGreevy, who was really, really good again, looked strong in the opening game of the series against the Cubs. Who were you more impressed with, Thomas, in the Chicago series by itself? Was it Gray on Sunday or McGreevy on Friday?
I'm going to have to go with Sonny Gray. I know his line's not going to look as clean. It's not a shutout. One of those runs, definitely not his fault. Corman botched that throw over to first base. Yeah, right. 7 strikeouts, only 1 walk, 7 innings strong. That's what you look for out of your number 1 pitcher, to be able to go that long, save the bullpen, and really get those strikeouts, limit runners, and the damage they can create. I'm not going to downplay McGreevy's start. He was exceptional in his 6 innings. He held the Cubs at bay for most, if not all, the game, kept the runners off the base. But Gray was just a little bit more dominant in my mind.
He also, I'm going to throw a picture up too on YouTube right now. If you noticed, Sonny went with the socks up look, Thomas, which I always am a fan of. If you may not like much about Miles Michaelis, that's your right. But there's one thing he's always done, and he's done the high socks, and they've always looked awesome. Waino used to do the high socks. Big fan of him. I think it adds a whole lot to the look. But Sonny had him on Sunday night. Actually, Miles is the one that suggested it to him. John Denton was writing about this or was it Derek Gould? Maybe it was Derek Gould, but they wrote about it. But about how he told Sonny, dude, try it like this because it makes you feel a little bit cooler, heat-wise. He wore the sleeves in L.A. to keep his hands drier, if you remember. All these things seem to be working. The question is, can Sonny maintain this level of performance, or is this just, a couple of good games and you expect it to come back down to earth a little bit?
I sure hope he can. I mean, he's being paid the money for it. He's got the title of number 1 on the staff for it. If you're hoping to make a playoff or a postseason push these last few weeks of the season, you need Sonny Gray to be on. You don't need 7-8 innings every start, but more often than not, you need him to be that ace, top of the rotation type guy.
Yeah, and some cool stats. This for sure from John Denton. I do remember this. 17 wins now at Busch Stadium in the last 2 seasons. Only Tarek Skubal, who's arguably the best pitcher in baseball, has more. 18 at Comerica Park in Detroit. Cardinals are 13-2 and Gray's 15 starts at home this year, and a Major League best 18-6 when he takes the mound. Yet people still question whether or not he is a number one guy in Major League Baseball. How do you feel about this? I mean, obviously, you always wish you had like 3 dudes who are better than him to be your number one. But all things considered, I mean, can we say he's a number one, or should we say he's not? Pick a lane, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, you're getting into semantics at that point. What do you consider a number one pitcher in the league? Is it top 5, top 10? What are you looking for? Or is it just like a guy who can lead a staff? And I think if that's the definition you're going for, it's got to be Sonny Gray. He's been a stopper in his career. He's been able to start runs for the Cardinals. He's had those spectacular, near historic starts. I mean, look at his complete game shutout earlier this year, the Maddox. That's something that an ace can do. That's a number one type performance. Is he a top 10 pitcher? Probably not. But how many teams can have? Like only 10 teams can have a top 10 pitcher realistically, unless one team has 2. And then we're just getting into finance discussions, but we don't need to go there today. So I think he's definitely number one.
Dodgers, you can go out and buy a bunch of them, and but
hey,
I mean, right. They got to stay healthy, and they're not healthy. You've seen them deal with a lot of injuries out there, so doesn't always work out that way. But yeah, I mean, whether you want to call him a number one or an ace, you want to use these words that trigger people for whatever reason. They get very upset at me when I call him an ace. I don't know why, but he is your ace. He's the Cardinals' ace. That's what's most important, and more times than not, he has pitched like one. He's been that guy that, like, when things are going in the crapper, he's the guy that gives you the best chance to turn it around or put a stop to it, like you said, being a stopper for this rotation and, kind of bringing things back to balance for the team. Because, you've seen these starts that you get from a Michaelis and a Palante where it just blows up on them. And then you're like, oh, crap. Now we've used the whole bullpen and we're screwed. And then, all right, who do we turn to? Sonny Gray's been that guy for them. So you got to give him some credit. And whatever you want to call him, just know that he is the best starting pitcher on the Cardinals right now. It's been fun to watch this year. More times than not, he's been really, really good. So 11 wins now. ERA still over 4, which you don't like to see, but a couple of big blow-up games are why they look a lot worse than they are. At the same time, if you're a number one, you're not supposed to have those games. So I understand the argument there as well. I mentioned bullpen. We're going to stick with pitching next. I want to ask Thomas about the bullpen and what has happened since the trade deadline. Who are the guys that are impressing him? And we'll talk a little bit of offense too. Especially what we're seeing from the young guys like Jordan Walker, who has looked so much better. So we'll get into all of this coming up on Locked On Cardinals. Today's episode brought to you by Game Day Hue, and so is this particular hat. If you're watching on YouTube, Game Day Hue, cool enough to hook us up with a couple of their golf caps. These things are clean. They're beautiful. They're light. I love wearing them on the golf course, but you can wear them anywhere. If you want to wear them to the gym, that's another place I've been able to wear them as well. It keeps the sweat and stuff away. It's just working out nicely for me. For Cardinals fans like me, that hits the mark. And it should for you too. Game Day Hue makes clean, no logo gear with team-inspired colorways for every pro and college fan base. And it's all about letting the colors speak for you. You don't have to deal with the giant logos, which turn some people off. Just smart, versatile styles that work on game day, on the golf course, or anywhere in between. Obviously, the golf course is a great place to do it because I can wear that and I can match it up with the glove that I got, because it's not just hats. You can check out their split shade gloves as well, made for the golf course. They are perfect gifts for, birthdays, Father's Days. I mean, you're going to start thinking about Christmas stuff here in the near future. We're in August, I know, but you're going to start thinking about it. And it's stuff like this that you can get now and have it ready for, and that way you're not procrastinating. So get 15% off with code MLB15 at GameDayHue.com. That's GameDayHue.com. The code even stacks on bundle deals, so you can get more. So now's the time to load up. Let your colors talk, because colors speak louder than words. That's GameDayHue.com, code MLB15. Thanks again for making Locked on Cardinals first listen every day. Leave your comments on YouTube as well as on X or TikTok anytime you want. Make sure you guys give Thomas a follow at Thomas Gauvain on X. But we love the feedback. We want to hear from you and what you're thinking about things. Agree or disagree with the things we're talking about today. One thing I think we can all agree on, Thomas, is that the Cardinals bullpen has been a very strong spot for this team overall all season long. All season long. It was the same way last year. This year, not a whole lot had changed. Like the bullpen was really, really good. But you do what needed to be done at the trade deadline. You end up trading three of those big pieces away, and Ryan Helsley, Phil Maton, and Steven Matz. And you needed to find guys that were going to step up in those roles and replace those guys. And so far, it's really been four guys that have stood out to you since the deadline moves, right?
Yeah, it's so one of the guys has been around for a long time, Kyle Leahy. He's been doing it all year. He had a little bit of a blip sometime in June, but since then he settled. Kyle Leahy, Matt Swanson, Jojo Romero, and Riley O'Brien. Those four seem to be Ollie's favorites at the back of the bullpen, and they've been delivering ever since August 1st.
Now let's start kind of like the pecking order. We'll start with Swanson. Okay, he's the rookie. All right, let's start with Swanson. 7 games in his last 7 games, 12 innings, 1 run, 6 hits, 12 Ks. He's got a .95 ERA. We know that he did some closing in the minor leagues as well. What have you liked from him so far? What has impressed you so far about him? And again, in his rookie season, people forget about this. This isn't like some veteran guy that they got. This is a rookie making his debut in Major League Baseball, and he seems to have found his niche, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got 8 strikeouts just in the month of August already. He's been firing the ball in there. He's stranding runners that he inherits. He's been exceptional when called on it in leverage situations. And as the season's gone on, and as Ollie's got more comfortable with him since his promotion full time, he's been seeing these higher leverage situations, and they haven't really been daunting to him. He's handled them well.
And that's part of the thing is that when you have those other 3 guys there, and those are the go-to guys for those situations, guys like Swanson kind of got lost in the shuffle. You know, they were coming in games and they were just like, I don't know, am I even that big of a deal? Am I needed on this team all that much? But, you know, it's just one of those things where some of these guys that you have that are used to, you know, more, you know, high leverage roles in the minor leagues, then you bring them up here and they're throwing in the 6th inning of a, you know, where they're losing 6-2. Like, it's different. It's weird, but it's different that you just don't have the same intensity or focus. And, to see him stepping up and becoming better and better as the year went on, I've thoroughly enjoyed it because we all know you can never have enough arms in the bullpen. And, you know, we saw Chris Roycroft and guys like that where it's just like, this isn't working. This isn't good. And Swanson has been able to calm things down and has been excellent over the last 7 games that he's been in. Riley O'Brien, another one of those guys. Where's your trust meter at with Riley O'Brien? Because when I watch his games, I feel personally, I'm like very nervous that he's going to walk some dudes and it's going to get out of hand. But so far, you go to his numbers and you're like, this guy's actually pretty good. 1.74 ERA so far this season, just 6 earned runs this year. What are your favorite things about what you've seen from Riley O'Brien, specifically more recently when he's gotten called upon more from Ollie?
Yeah, it starts with his fastball. Everything develops from there. He's touching 97, 98 with ease. When you get a guy with high stuff like Riley O'Brien, you have to be willing to sacrifice balls going haywire, and he hasn't really had that happen to him. So in August, at least, we'll say that he had some rough patches early in the year too, but he seemed to have settled that down as well. He's getting pretty decent strikeout numbers. He's more so getting guys out, however that happens, ground balls, whatever it may be, as opposed to what his usual calling card is with strikeouts. But it's the stuff. It starts from there. It's the fastball velo. That's where it goes for O'Brien.
Yeah, that like so much movement, and that's the thing is you're seeing like you know, we hear it a lot, soft contact, but his movement is so good that's why people aren't hitting him quite as hard. Yeah, they're putting it in play, and you hope to get more swing and miss out of him, but not a whole lot to complain about when it comes to Riley O'Brien. He's been pitching a lot better as he's getting more frequent work, and he's staying healthy. Obviously, that's been an issue for him. Since he's been a part of this organization, he has been able to stay on the mound. And at least recently, fingers crossed, things have stayed healthy for him. And so we want to keep it that way because you see why they're kind of drooling over him. And it's kind of a shocker that other organizations have let him just move on. And so far the Cardinals are taking advantage of that. Kyle Leahy, as we mentioned, been really, really good. Had that rough June that you mentioned where, he was really good at the beginning of the year. Spring, we were like, where's this dude coming from? But over his last 9 games, 16 2/3 innings, 2 runs, 8 hits, 19 Ks, the ERA at 1.08. He's really been a lot of fun to watch. Has been a bright spot for this team as well, hasn't he?
He has, and a lot of other people, beat writers, have been talking about his personality and how it lends him to being calm, cool, and collected regardless of when he's called upon. He is that multi-inning reliever who can come in high leverage. He can shut down both-handed batters. He's been reliable as all get out, and he seems to be mentally handling the load really well.
Yeah, and we forget about that sometimes of the mental toll that it takes on these guys to be out there and in the situations that they are, where you got a team like the Cardinals where we're not outscoring a lot of teams. They're tight ball games, and it's just like over and over. You're just in these 1-run, 2-run ball games, and pressure's real, man. It's not an easy job. If it was, everybody'd be doing it, and we'd find bullpen arms all over the place. But it's not easy. There has been discussion about possibly stretching him out and letting him become a starter for next season, similar to what they did with Matthew Liberatore this spring. With the way the depth is in the organization, you've seen the injuries to guys that they were hoping might be able to step up. It's Koa Roby and Cooper Jerpy and Sim Robertson. Quinn Matthews has had his issues, although he just got named International Pitcher of the Week, which is really good. And he's looked better recently, but he's had his health issues. Team Kent's has had health issues. The way things are you cool with that? Are you cool them doing the Liberatore thing again, where they kind of taking a weapon from a strong spot, which is the bullpen, and moving it up to the rotation if they decide they're not going to go outside the organization and pay for anybody?
Yeah, I think there's a few different statements in baseball that ring true. One of them is that you can replace a bullpen piece pretty easily. They're cheap, they're easy to find on the open market or on waivers. I would love to move Kyle Leahy into a rotation spot for next year, at least give him a chance in spring. Michaelis will be gone. That opens up a spot. I think there's an argument.
You think he will, do you?
I hope he will. If he's back, I think that we'll be seeing numbers in the 10,000s next year in attendance. I think Andre Plante should probably get a second look as far as where he fits for next year, too. And then you always need that depth. You mentioned a bunch of prospects we have. Throw Kyle Leahy in there, and it's insurance at that point for the rotation. I don't know if he'd be an amazing starting pitcher. I'm not saying that, but he could be very serviceable towards the bottom of the rotation with maybe some upside.
Yeah, we saw him pitch. It was like when he got stretched out over a few innings, and everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, okay, maybe we do this with him." So obviously, this won't happen until the off season, and then. We don't know what's going to happen this offseason either. If Chaim Bloom what's he going to do to kind of reshape things and how they look? Is he willing to deal some of the position players to go find some other pitchers to give them, more depth there at the starting rotation position? So, but something to think about. And then, of course, we'll wrap it up bullpen wise with JoJo Romero. I mean, what can you say bad about JoJo since April 27th? He's been almost unhittable, 35 appearances, 32 1/3 innings, 33 strikeouts, 2 earned runs in 35 appearances. That is freaking nuts. The ERA is 0.56. The guy found his thing at playing golf, man. He went to the driving range and figured out to get his hips into something, and he's been incredible ever since. I mean, is this the closer? Is this the guy moving forward? Or do you think this is just something that'll happen, for the rest of this year, and then they'll reevaluate things next year?
Yeah, he's got 3 saves since the deadline. That would lend you to believe he's the closer. I think bullpens should probably be a little bit more flexible than this is my closer here, especially since he's the only lefty in the bullpen. You'll see him like we saw against Ohtani and Freeman and Betts at one point in the game against the Dodgers. You'll see him when they need him most, but if possible, I think Marmol will hold them to the 9th in a close game.
Yeah, and it is strange that they just don't have any other lefters, or they got the waiver guy.
Wait for John King to come back. Hold on.
Yeah, waiting on John King to come back as well. But I don't know. I've kind of enjoyed not having to see him so far. No offense, John, but things are working pretty well without you. So, just take your time, buddy. Get healthy. Offensively, real quick, we've seen Jordan Walker appear to be turning a corner with his game since coming back from the IL. As he said, 20 games, hitting 315, Thomas, 359 OBP. Only the one home run. I get it. 8 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. But what have you liked most about what you've seen from Jordan Walker since coming off the IL?
He is swinging the ball a lot more in August, or he's swinging at the ball a lot more in August. And it's not like he's swinging at those fastballs high, breaking balls down and away. His in zone swing rate has gone up quite a bit. He's now up to 61.5%. His out of zone swing rate has dropped in this month. I came prepared today. You got statistics on me. It dropped from over 50% in June and July down to 30.5%. So he's swinging more, but it's at pitches in the zone. He's not necessarily generating hard contact as often. His average exit velocity is a little bit down. But when he hits the ball and when he barrels it, man, that thing's a bullet coming out of the box.
Yeah, and it's a shame because there's been a couple times where he's had balls that look like they were going to be home runs and he gets robbed and I don't know why they just have been dying at certain spots. But that one that he hit this weekend was a freaking missile. Like that was.
He had 2 against the Diamondbacks too, didn't he? In that series, like close to home runs. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like because you had a couple of them in there, and you're like, things look so much more different just by a couple of them going an extra 15 feet. But it's great to see. I don't know anybody that's been rooting against Jordan Walker. I mean, this franchise really needs a superstar player to get behind. I think Mason Wynn is on his way. Obviously, you're seeing it defensively, and he's been really, really good in the second half offensively. But it's always been Wynn and Walker. Those are the guys that, we're really kind of banking on. And it's been tough, for us watching Jordan struggle, and you're like, wait a second, this guy was the top right-handed hitting prospect in all of baseball just a couple of years ago. Like, what has happened? And you know what? He's still 23 and he's still young. And sometimes it just takes a little bit before things finally click. And so far, I can't really complain about what we've seen since he's been back. Also, shout out to Nolan Gorman hitting 304 in August with a home run and 5 RBIs in 7 games. The Arenado injury has been huge for him, hasn't it?
Offensively, yeah.
Defensively, we don't got to talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. Yeah, offensively, it's been great. He's a guy that's streaky, and for the streaky guys, you need to get them regular playing time, and he's gotten that. He's gotten 35 out of 40 starts this year in his appearances. He's logged 7 games in August alone, 25 plate appearances. That's huge for a guy like him who needs those consistent at-bats, plate appearances, experiences. His OPS is still slightly below 800, which you don't love to see, like a little bit more slug out of him. However, you'll still take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. And, these guys are finally here in August. You're seeing the runway that we heard so much about all offseason. And
we're done with that word.
You eliminate the log jam that you got, and some of these at-bats are coming in more for these guys, and you're seeing some of them step up. So positive thoughts right now going on with the Cardinals. And now you got the Rockies in town. We're going to talk about them and the division wild card race that the Cardinals technically are still a part of. And one former legend actually thinks things are going to come down to the very end of this season for the Cardinals. He's got a bold prediction. So we'll talk about that more coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches for just 24 hours. FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP or you're eyeing a long shot division winner or you're ready to crown your Super Bowl champion before week 1 even kicks off, this is going to be your moment. So let's talk MVP. All right, Josh Allen last year, very, very good, right? Who's complaining about Josh Allen? But rarely do guys win back-to-back MVPs anymore. Aaron Rodgers was the last one to do it when he was with the Packers. But it's almost always a quarterback. So if you're going to choose one, who are you going to roll with? Personally, I'm kind of on the Bengals Joe Burrow bandwagon right now. Finally healthy in the preseason. Has always been hurt during the preseason. Looked really good in their first game. And I'm hoping that slow start that normally plagues him and the team won't be there because he's healthy finally. But he's got all the weapons, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown. That's the guy I'm eyeing for the MVP. So visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bet now. You can go with what I say. You can pick your own. Maybe you go Lamar Jackson. Maybe you go Josh Allen again. Or maybe you go Patrick Mahomes, possibly. These are all up to you. But visit the FanDuel app today. Start planning your futures bet now because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen. For your second listen, check out Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB's YouTube channel or wherever you listen to your podcast. Thomas Gauvain from RedbirdRants.com with us. Cardinals lost 2 of 3 in Colorado. Got shut out in that last game. Most people thought that was the dirt on top of the Cardinals' coffin, and that would do it. Game, set, match. Season's over. Now you're looking up and you're like, okay, 3.5 back in the wild card. A lot of these other teams ahead of you were slumping. Do we start to believe? You're going to have to beat the Rockies, though. Is anything less than a sweep a failure over the next few games?
If you look at the overall season against the Rockies, you go 500 against them. I think that's not good at all. And that's what it would take if we go 2 out of 3. I'll take 2 out of 3, though, at this point, just to keep the ball rolling. Series win is a series win. You look at the matchups, we've got Chase Dollander tonight, 6.68 ERA, so that should bode well. Right-handed pitcher, we got some lefties. However, the next 2 nights, it's Kyle Freeland and then Austin Gomber, both lefties. Even if you look at their ERA, you shouldn't be overly confident given how the Cardinals have hit against left-handed pitchers this year.
Yeah.
Brett Bush, which suppresses offense a little bit more, too, than Coors Field, obviously. So I'm confident that one series sweep would be lovely. I'll take just a victory.
Isn't that crazy, though? We sit there, we look at this, and we're like, between those 3 pitchers, they have 4 wins, Thomas. 4 the whole season. And we're like, well, it's going to be tough. Like, I see, those are that's why I'm always like, it's hard to trust anything that the Cardinals have done this year because they always these struggles happen. These left-handed pitchers come in, and for whatever reason, they can't hit them, and it doesn't make any sense at this point. Although having Ivan Herrera back is something that has really helped even things out and has them playing a lot better and at least offensively hitting a lot better against those kind of guys. But yeah, I mean, these guys are terrible. Like there's no excuses for not winning 2 of 3. If not sweeping. I mean, Dollander 2-9, as you mentioned, 6.68 ERA. I know he throws hard. I know he's a big prospect for them, so there's going to be some strikeouts in this one. But come on, man, you got to hit this guy. And then Freeland 2-12, ERA 5.53. And Gomber, they hit well in Colorado, so I'm not worried about him. 6.52 ERA. Very familiar with the former Cardinal there. But again, we look at these standings, dude. 3.5 back in the wild card. Adam Wainwright posted this. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm calling it now. The Cardinals shock everybody and are playing for a wild card spot on the last series of the season against the Cubs. Cubs Cards last 3 days of the regular season would be wild. Now, are you buying into this, or do you think maybe he was just really excited because Yachty was back in town and it got the better of him? What are your thoughts?
Probably a little of both, honestly. I mean, he knows a thing or two about late season comebacks. You look back at 2011 alone, especially. Yeah, I know. So he knows a thing or two about late season comebacks. I would love it. Why not? Go for it. That series against the Cubs has always been on my mind since they released the schedule last year as a series that should be a big one towards the end of the year. Why not? Go for it. Get a wild card berth. See what happens. We've missed the playoffs here in St. Louis for too many years.
Yeah. And it's it would be something. It'd be another, how Detroit kind of, they traded things away at the deadline, and then they just they clicked and things started to work. And so that could be something that's happening. I mean, you're kind of seeing it around the league where some of these big city teams, both New Yorks have been having a really rough go. And you're seeing,
Cubs,
the Cardinals are sneaking back in, and all of a sudden the Guardians are a half game out of the wild card. There's a lot of baseball still to play. I mean, we've got almost 2 months left. So anything can and usually does happen, but got to take care of business, right? 1 game at a time. We'll use all the cliches, but you've got the Rockies in town for 3. No mercy, dude. You got to take care of business, and you've got to at least 2. A sweep needs to happen, though, in my opinion, and that'll really get the juices flowing once again after 2 big series wins against the Dodgers and, of course, the Cubs. All right, Thomas, thank you so much for joining us today. Find him at Thomas Gauvain on Twitter, on X, whatever you're calling it these days. Anything new at redwoodranch.com that you're working on right now?
I've got a pretty interesting Cardinals history piece coming out on August 16th. And then I will be at the game on Saturday with the Yankees. So if anybody wants to come find me, be like a little Where's Waldo type thing, go for it.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Do you know where you're sitting yet, or you just know you're going?
Somewhere 200s, third baseline. I can't remember exactly. So
I mean, there's been
honestly, I don't want to tell people where I actually am. So you may not, I don't have people hunting me the whole time or something. Probably not.
All
I don't
right.
know.
Everybody stalk Thomas and his family on Saturday when the Yankees are in town, and go say hi to Thomas and say hi to the wife and the kids and stuff. So looking forward to hopefully a strong week with the Rockies and the Yankees games coming up. So thank you guys for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at @LO_Cardinals at JD Sports Radio, TikTok and Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. Of course, on YouTube as well. If you haven't seen the visual side of things, come check us out. You guys are the best fans in baseball for a reason. We'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.